Hello, everyone, and welcome to ATP Live Monday. Uh, I hope you can hear me. Just let me know you can hear me. I'm trying to. Okay, yeah. All right. So, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Uh, welcome to ATP Live Monday. Apologies for the slight delay in starting. I think I'm having some technical issues, which is becoming an issue every week now. I think it's something with my StreamYard on my internet, one of them. So, welcome to ATP Live Monday. I am Gbemisola Boyede. It's my pleasure to be here today. Just let me know if you can hear me in the comment section. Try and also share the video. Um, help me to share the video, and welcome to ATP Live Monday. This program is brought to you by Ask the Pediatricians Foundation. ATP Live is a program where you get to ask any questions that you may have about the health of your children, and then we can address them, okay, in the next 1 hour. It's brought to you by Ask the Pediatricians Foundation. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm still trying to get my laptop working, but I'll continue on my phone. So feel free to ask any questions that you may have about the health of your children in the comment section. Actually, for those on Instagram, those on YouTube, on our Facebook page, just drop your questions directly under the video, and then I will say it here. If you're watching in a group, which I don't think, because I've not yet shared it right now. Okay. All right, let me see. If you're watching in the video, okay, which one is connected? Okay. I don't know why this one is not connected. Okay. Okay. All right, I think I'll just continue with my phone because I don't really get what is happening with my laptop at this time. Okay, but thank you so much for joining. For those who are watching, feel free to drop your questions, and I want to encourage you to help me share the video and the link to our Facebook groups, to all the platform where you can share, and then I'll try and see what I can do with the online one here. Um, okay, so welcome to ATP Live Monday. If you have any questions, feel free to start to drop your questions in the comment section, and I will try and answer them. I'm still trying to get on live. Okay, let's see whether it will work this time around. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm not quite sure which one is the issue today. Okay, I can see for now you've dropped a question in the comment section. But I need to quickly do some connection. Um, okay, I'm trying to connect my. Okay, I think I better shut down my laptop and restart it. Sorry for that. But I can see your comments in the comment section. If I'm so I'll try and answer your question. I think I should just restart my laptop. It was all good just a minute ago. So sometimes this thing happen. All right. So from you're the first one. You said your. Let me show your comments on stage. You said your 3-year-old received gentamicin IV in his toy. Do you mean toys? We don't give IV in the toys, so I doubt that is an IV. Do you mean to say IM? Because I don't think we'll ever set lines um in the toys, so I'm not quite sure that is a possible. So feel free to be sure that is correct. So it was treated for cough and catarrh weeks before, and it came back. So the P that FMC prescribed the injection. He took it for 5 days, ounce daily. And because I've read how children can get nerve injury with injection given at the bum, insisted he took it in his labs only. Okay. Um, but that is an intramuscular injection. That is not IV because you said IV. So that is not IV. IV is intravenous. IM is intramuscular, and we don't give intramuscular in the, we don't give intravenous in the thigh. So I suspect your child got an IV, an IM injection. Exactly 1 week after injection, he was limping. I gave him paracetamol after an hour yesterday. Okay, so bottom line, your child still had a complication of intramuscular. I'm not quite sure why your doctor wants your baby to have intravenous an injection, gentamicin. But even if the child wants to have intravenous injection, an injection for treatment, then the child should have been admitted and intravenous line put in. Again, I keep saying we should try and avoid all these intramuscular injections. Even though the tie is better than the Botox, but it's not completely all free as well. So as much as possible, you want to avoid unnecessary intramuscular. And I don't know why most of the doctors, let me not say most, why some of our doctors don't want to just admit the children and set up a line. If you want to give the children antibiotics intravenously, like gentamicin can only be given intravenously, then you should admit the child. Just admit the child, because it's not just because the child is getting the intramuscular injection. Like for the vaccines, we give it just once and that is it. But for something like this, the child is going to take it multiple times. The child is taking it for 5 days. That's a long time to keep giving injection. And each time the nurses want to give, they are going to try and look for an alternative space. So after a while, they will start getting to the point where they will not want to be able to give. They will, as they're avoiding all these places, then they are going to get into trouble and get to the point where they will not be able to avoid spaces where the child can get nerve injury. So I really think if a child needs antibiotic for 5 days, the best thing is for the child to have been admitted to the hospital, have a cannula put in. It's actually easier to put in a cannula, and you can even go home with the cannula. We'll wrap it properly, and you just come home. Number one, it's less traumatic, less painful. It is one pain at the time of setting the cannula, and they just keep giving it instead of giving a child injection for 5 days. So the risk is higher. Actually, if you have to take it for not just once off, you're having to take it multiple times. So the risk is definitely higher. So what I would recommend is that you need to go back to the hospital. You need to see your doctor who started the injections, and then you can now uh, you can they can examine the child, see what has happened, and then they can hopefully sort it out. Okay, so I'm suspecting it's another traumatic nerve injury. Okay, good. I think my internet is working better now. So let me remove this one. Okay, I'll go off my phone. Let me go off the phone. Let my phone cool off a bit. All right, so thank God we are back on the on the real. My laptop is working better. All right, so I hope you can see hear me, and for those on Instagram, I hope you can now. Um, I hope you can still see me. On those on Instagram because now I've lost my Instagram. I'm not sure whether I can see my Instagram connection. Um, Okay, so I was answering Ifama's questions. So let's just display it. No, what is it? Why is it not showing? Okay, so okay, I think I can still see this one is on. Okay, I'll try and see how to see this on Instagram on my phone later. All right, so for Ifama's question, yeah, the of is is very it may be pain without like my internet is a little slow, but I guess it's to try and share the link to the video on our platform. But feel free to uh, we share as well, and feel free to um okay. If I might just let me know you got the answer to my question. And if you're seeing your doctors, that's it. Okay. Okay, so you can't hear me, it's breaking. Sorry about that. I think I'm having internet connection issues and I'm currently using my phone right now. I don't really know what's the problem with the internet. It was working perfectly just before the time to go live. Then it starts misbehaving. So I'm always just trying to see what I can do despite all that. Um, but I'm not quite sure whether you got the answer to your questions. I just recommended that you see your doctor again. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Okay, so that's my recommendation. Okay, so that's my recommendation. 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 Hello, hello, hello. I think I'll just stay on my phone because my laptop's still messed up every time. Sorry and apologies for all the breaks and all that. I apologize sincerely. But thank you so much for staying till to watch. So, Ifama, I guess you're still there. Just let me know if you're still there. You're the only one I know I've asked a question, but feel free to ask your question. Um, I'm really sorry for all this break. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether my laptop is also having its own issues. I don't know whether we should just call it a day. Okay. Okay, whoever is there, just let me know you're there. I'm not quite sure what is going on. I just shut it down completely. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for being there. Fama, I guess you're the only one that is still there. Sorry, I don't know whether all the breaking you got the answer to your questions. My technology is really messing up today. I've tried everything, so I'll just take on my phone. At least that is still manageable because I was getting hot. All right. So, okay, you were not able to get the answer to the question. Okay, fine. So I like I said, most likely, 5 days of intramuscular injection is a long time. It's a long time, and I know they were doing it on the thighs, but because they are giving it multiple times, it's not just like a once off. So those kind of what is I would give those kind of injection if it's just one dose we need to give and we couldn't get a line, so we will give it once off. But if we have to give the injection for 5 days, I would have recommended that we should just admit the child in the hospital, or even if you don't want to admit the child and you want to do what we call ambulatory treatment, then what we should have done is to put up a line, a nice line, and then wrap it up so that the child can go home. We will teach you as the mom how to keep it safe, like so that when bathing you keep it away from water and all that. And it is number one less painful for the child because it's just one time line, and then the child just come get, and giving it through the vein is very less painful. And so that would have been better than just choking the child every day for 5 days. So the child may be limping from two possible reasons. It could just be the pain, the sheer pain of those intramuscular injection, because even if you get, I don't know whether you've taken any vaccine recently. They give you, I remember when I took my Severix, which is the HPV vaccine, and even when we took all the COVID vaccine, it was painful. Some of us had pain on our hands for days after that injection. So intramuscular injection, even if they didn't eat a nerve, is painful. So number one, the child could be limping because of the pain, and he has had that for 5 days. This is just a small baby. I can't remember what the age of the child. I said 3 years old. So you can imagine, even yes, even an adult, sometimes you get those injections for days, you are in pain. So not to talk of a small child. So I'm getting it for 5 days. That's a lot. So I imagine that even the pain alone could make him to be limping. So I'll recommend you give him paracetamol for the pain, and that will be helpful. After that, but sometimes it could also be that the child has suffered what we call an injury to the nerves that run through the thigh. Because sometimes, even though I know we try to avoid the buttocks, but even the thigh also has its own nerve bundles. There's no part of your body that doesn't have nerves and blood vessels. They all go together. So there's what we call neurovascular bundle. And if the nurse is trying to give injections multiple times and she's trying to avoid giving it again on where she gave it before, then the chances that she can see consciously or unconsciously eats those neurovascular bundle is still quite high. So I would still recommend you see the pediatrician or physiotherapist. They can examine the child confirm whether it's a nerve injury or it's just pain, kind of pain that is causing the child to limp. And you can keep giving the paracetamol, and more importantly, the physiotherapy can do their own intervention, different kind of intervention, and monitor. Hopefully, I hope it's something mild that the child will recover from fully. But if it is not, then physiotherapy will be involved for a longer time, and we hope the child will recover fully. So most of the time, the children recover fully, so don't panic. But we can't say now. It depends on what exactly is the cause of this. The kind of injury the child had, that is causing the pain. So that's just what I would say. I would just say just be patient a bit, and then you can see your doctors and all that. But from just as a learning point, let's just avoid intramuscular. I really, really don't like giving intramuscular injection in children. There are only few exceptions. For example, immunization. And remember that we give immunization just one dose, and you go away for maybe a month or two before we give again. So, and that's one. Number two, maybe we've tried to get the line and we couldn't. But these injections that we're giving for 3 days, we're giving for 5 days, there's no excuse whatsoever to be giving those kind of intramuscular injection in children. Taking children every day for 5 days to get intramuscular injection, there's absolutely no excuse in the book for that. The child should have had a line set, and they should be giving it through the veins. That is the right thing to do. So please avoid places where they tend to do that. Honestly, I'd rather they give the child oral drugs, and I don't know why they can give by mouth. Let me see your first post. Okay. It's just cough and catarrh. I mean, there are what we call azithromycin. Azithromycin is a family of gentamicin. So the azithromycin would have been a very good alternative, and it's just oral drugs, and it's just once a day, and it'll be given for 3 days. So that's what I would have given for a child who is able to drink, who is not vomiting. If I want to give any of the micro glides, which is, if you want to give any of the medication that is in that particular family of gentamicin, then the most appropriate thing to give is just to have given the child azithromycin, and very easy to administer. So I'm not happy with the treatment the child got, to be honest. But obviously, I just like to create this awareness for the parents, because we parents, sometimes I know some doctors say that we also try to force these injections, and some of us think, oh, it's because injections are better and all that. Let's remove this one. Okay, let's see whether my this is better. Um, okay, so I hope this is better. You can hear me better, and I hope my internet keeps working. All right. So if it is working and you can hear me better, that's good. If not, share the video to any of our platforms yet. So if I know you're still there, just let me know, and whether you've been able to get the answer to your questions now. If you have, I'm so glad. So, oh, okay, good. Yes, I'm happy you've gotten it, and thank you for being patient and thank you for sticking through, because I know it's really a nightmare when the internet begins to fail you, but seems to be back now. So hopefully we can make we can finish. So I'll try to share. So for those who are just joining, thank you so much for joining me. Apologies for all the hiccups, technical. I know every time I get pressure to, like, maybe I should just stop doing this live because it's stressful, but I just feel like I need to continue. If it's just one person or persons that really need the answers, is what it. So thank you so much for your patience with me. I can assure you the meantime was working absolutely fine. for joining me. So I'm going to share the video. So I put it on top and I can share it. So now that I have so let me click share video and then you can. But if you are listening and you have questions, feel free to drop your questions right now. Okay. Okay. I have a video. You like just share. So, better share video. And okay. Is that who manage? Okay, so information said is it works well after taking. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't do something much. And when the size of we are back to square one. Okay. Not complain much on link, but when the PCM wears off, we are back to square one. How long can I work before visiting the hospital? I will just watching. I think you should just go to the hospital straight away. I think you should just go to the hospital straight away and let the doctor understand what is going on. So my phone Sorry. Apologies. I think I will just stick with my phone. I won't go on my laptop again. It's just so annoying. All right. I just finished. Okay. So yeah, internet is breaking. I would just say if you have any question, feel free to please post it on our Facebook group. I'll try and go and answer the question on the Facebook group. It's just we thank God for everything. In everything, we give thanks. Okay, so the last question I'll just take is that of Falashade Akinla. I say, good day to you, ma'am. My 7-month-old is not passing through regularly, 5 days interval, and when she does, it's always hard and painful. Is it advisable I give her orange? All right, thank you for, let me just do the question on the stage. Number one, yes, your child has constipation. So, and the first thing we want to do is to address the constipation itself. And so, what are you feeding your 7-month-old? That will help us to understand why the child is constipated. So, at 7 months old, you should still be breastfeeding. Make sure you're still breastfeeding the baby. And then when you're giving food, make sure you are giving porridge, soft or mixed mash food. Don't give something too hard or too solid. And more importantly, give a lot of water. So some of us tend to switch from breast milk to formula, as that is the complementary feed. Complementary feeding is not formula feeding. So complementary feeding means you keep on breastfeeding the baby and you now start giving solids, but you're giving soft or porridge like solids, and then you need to give the child lots of water. And the fact that you are even asking whether you can give orange worries me, because there's nothing wrong with you giving your child um orange from 6 months old. So your child needs to take fruits, needs to take vegetables, even when you start complementary feeds. And the way to do that is that you can juice the orange yourself in your kitchen. Actually, for the 6 months, so we advise that you dilute it a bit, because orange is quite acidic. So dilute it with a little bit of water, and you can give the child. But even beyond just orange, you can give other food that are rich in fiber. So your oats, for example, is rich in fiber. Even the orange, if the child can eat it, like, or the pillars, the easy pillars or tangerine, like some people call it, you can also give the child. So this will give the child a lot of fiber, and that will help the child to be able to pass the stool without, that constipation kind of feeling. Okay, if the child is already constipated, most of the time we have to treat constipation first. So all this advice on breastfeeding, giving water, giving the right porridge, soft foods, giving oranges, fruits, vegetables, they are to prevent future constipation. But the constipation the child already had, that has to be treated. So we usually will give the children what we call laxatives, something that will make the stool to come out, because obviously this is very hard and painful for the child. So if you go to your local pharmacy, they can give you some laxative, things like Laxulose, things like Movicol, Laxidol. There are all different kind of them. There used to be paraffin as well, but that can make the child a little bit, messy, because it's oily and all that. But the child can have all that, so that the child can pass the hard stools out first. But more importantly, we need to prevent future episodes of constipation by making sure the child drinks a lot of water, the child is still breastfeeding, the child eats porridge like food. And if you're giving formula, make sure you mix it correctly according to the instructions of the manufacturers, and that will help the child in terms of constipation. So I think that is for Lashade Akinla's question. I hope you are still there. If you are not there, yeah, you can let me know. But like I said, if you post these questions on our Facebook group, I will answer them. Once again, I sincerely apologize for all the messed up I have with my internet today, even though it seems to be working, but it's always messing up in the middle. All right, so let's answer the question from say, I did not get a complete answer to your question. Okay, I said the second part of your question, you said that when the child was taking some CON, I'm not sure what you mean by CON. So I wasn't sure of that, but I guess you're talking of when the child takes paracetamol after taking corn. What is corn? And don't complain much or lame. So, but when this PCM wears off. So if the when the child takes painkillers, the child does not have any form of pain or anything, then that means the limping is from pain and it's not from the um, it's not from the neuritis or injury to the nerves. So that's what I mean by that. So if the child is able to, if the child does, I'm trying to see if I can go back on my phone, on my laptop. So if the child is not having pain by the when you give painkiller, the child is not limping and the child is fine, then most likely the issue is not with the issue is not with neuritis. It's not an injury to the nerves. It is most likely pain related limping. So what you need to do is to keep giving the paracetamol and the child will be fine. But like I said, let's just avoid this as much as possible in future. So I hope that is helpful. Yeah, we've answered that your question. It works well after taking paracetamol. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, that the limping is more from the pain rather than from the um injury to the nerves, which is okay. But I just feel like you want to know whether when you can go to the hospital. If the child is still limping, I would say just go to the hospital. That's my own advice. It's better to go there. Even if they see it and they tell you there's nothing else, they examine the legs, they didn't see any swelling, they didn't see any sign of infection and all that. At least you are happy, because I'm not seeing it now. I'm only relying on what you are telling us, which is about the pain and the limping. So I'm happy. I'm actually happy if it's just the pain, because we can manage pain. We give paracetamol, but then that's really a lot of pain they've induced in that child. But if it's just pain, actually, at least we know that once the pain wears off, things will get better. But if it is more than pain, which is the injury to the nerves, then that is what worries me. So I would still say, if I might just go to the hospital, let the doctor say and reassure you. Okay, the last question. Rita, thank you for your patience. Say my 8-month-old has noisy breathing. I've taken to 2 different pediatricians, but still. So what did the pediatrician say? You didn't tell me what the pediatrician said. You just said, but still. So the pediatrician does not automatically make the child's problem go away. We are really wish we are that powerful and magical beings, but we are not. So, but would have told you what we think is going on. So, from what you are telling me, if your child is snoring, he's having noisy breathing, most likely the child has adenoids. And sometimes that is just what it is. And sometimes we just leave it alone, because we know that as the children gets older, the um the noisy breathing, the adenoids will begin to shrink and the child will get better. So if it is not causing infection and all that, most time we don't do anything about it. But if it is causing infection, the child is having fever, the child is having foul, smelly breath, halitosis and all that, and the child is always having infection in and out, then definitely we may need to take it out. Or if the child is having complications like what we call obstructive sleep apnea, like when the child is sleeping, the child will suddenly stop breathing and then suddenly starts all over again. So those are the things that will make us to refer the child to the ENT doctors, so that if they may want to take it out. So the pediatricians, we are actually not the real custodian of obstructive sleep apnea, or if the child is having noisy breathing due to adenoids. So we are actually not the one. That is the ENT doctor's responsibility. So, but if you are looking for something that will suddenly make the noisy breathing to go away or the child to stop snoring, there is no drug for that. That is the honest truth. But what we need to know is why. Okay, so if we know the why, the most common cause, which is what I've told you, is adenoids, enlarged adenoids. And sometimes we just live with it and wait for the child to get older and the adenoid to shrink on their own, and that may be all. But if the child is having the complications of those enlarged adenoids, the child is having all those complications I just mentioned, then yes, we may have to go and take it out, you know. So please, if you are tired of seeing us, the pediatrician, please see the ENT doctors. They are the ones that will tell you what next they can do about it. But it's not like we can suddenly just take it out. So I mean, it's not as if we can suddenly stop the breathing. Okay, you said they gave you uh antibiotics. Yeah, so we treat the infection if there's infection, but if the infection is happening frequently, then we may have to take out the adenoids. So that's what we do. So sometimes we treat the infection and things get better, but if the child keeps having it, then we have to see. So see the ENC, since you've been to the pediatrician twice, you don't need to go to two different pediatricians. It's actually better to go to the same person, because the same person we know that, okay, I've done the infection and things are not getting better, then they can refer you to the next person. But if you keep going to the new person will start all over again, and that will keep delaying getting you referred to the specialist. So I hope that is that. I hope that will be helpful. All right. Shukurai said, my baby sweats even when it is raining. How are you dressing the baby? Most of us Nigerian mothers, we overdress our baby. Once we see a hint of cold weather, we are covering them with sweaters, with everything. No, you don't have to overcover the baby. So if your baby is sweating, before take out the clothes. If you have wear sweaters and all that, just wear them something light, like a cotton, singlet or something like that. Something light, and then nappies, they're fine. So if the child is still sweating, even though you're dressing light, then you may want to see us. You didn't tell us the age of your child. Always include the age of your child, because that also help us to know what age category. There are very few rare conditions that make a child to be sweating when it is cold. So if your child is very sweaty, and it's not because you have overdressed the baby, which I know typical Nigerian mothers, we overdress our babies. We are putting caps, we are putting gloves, we are putting socks, we are putting everything. Most of those things are really unnecessary. So just sort of reduce all those extra stuff and let some breeze enter the child's body and then they will be fine. But if they keep sweating after that, then you should see us. Should still over him with overall inside. I don't know what you mean. I think you mean you still cover him overall. Okay, Yimeki Ashombi, my 2-year-old is not feeding well. Can I buy multivitamins? You can always buy multivitamins, but multivitamin is not the problem for a child who is not eating. The solution to a child who is not eating is food. You need to give them food. All right, so get the food for the child. My phone was on die off. It's so hot. So I think I'll stop. Okay, Shukra, your child is 9 months old. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So if I suspect, most likely it's because you have overcovered the baby. Just let it go. Don't be so scared that mothers are so worried that the child is going to have cold or infection if there's a little bit of breeze around them. No, it's fine. So just reduce it. Wear them something light and just diapers, and that's fine. And if the weather is getting cold and their hands or feet are feeling cold to your touch, then that is when you wear the extra. But if they are not, the children are very active. They are playing, so they are also generating a lot of heat already. So there's no problem. All right, before my phone dies off, thank you so much for joining me. Apologies for all my internet shenanigans today. I'll see you again next week. But if you still have questions, feel free to put your questions on our Facebook group from Mondays to Saturdays, and we'll answer them. And I forgot to say, we are so happy that our children have been returned. Congratulations to the whole of Nigerians, and we, the pediatricians especially, we're so happy. Thank you to the kidnappers for listening to us and releasing our children, and for our security forces. Thank you so much for the good work you've done. We are so grateful. We're so grateful that none of the children died and none of the children were killed. We're so, so, so grateful. And I hope this will be the last time that our children will ever be kidnapped from schools. I want our President Tinubu and all the leaders of Nigeria and all our everybody involved in security to make sure that our children remain priority. They should never be part of any political agenda or fights or anything. Children should be sacred and nothing should happen to our children. So we are so happy the children are back home, and we hope we don't have to go through the pain of the last 50 or 60 days. I can't remember now. Well, thank you so much. I'll see you again next week, and I hope I will pray my internet will be better and I'll have time to answer your question. But if you still have questions, feel free to go to ATP Facebook group, drop your questions there, and we'll be able to answer that. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.